Hey guys, it's your boy M.K.S here. Hope everyone's well. Obviously, I'm back with another video. So I was a bit tired, so I wasn't sure whether I wanted to make this video or not. But I thought I only wanted to, partly really wanted to make it for some reason. So all these series of videos. So anyway, I hope some people out there enjoy them. And as ever, I welcome your comments. But these are some of my ideas for like philanthropy, charity, whatever you want to call it, and hopefully making the world a better, more peaceful and loving place generally. So yeah, as ever, I welcome your comments. Anything you want to comment or anything like that. And yeah, so here goes. So some of my plans or ideas for philanthropy or things like that. And due to my relations, it's technically not Wednesday here anymore in the UK, but I did plan to make it on Wednesday, but I didn't quite get around to it. So anyway, so I hope to talk about like my plans for anti-war, pro-peace and love and things like that, and how to encourage people to be against wars and work together against for peace. And I think if we come together, maybe we can sort of put pressure on governments to make that be a policy. And I fear that like the next, I know a lot of people talking about the next war could be between China and Taiwan, heaven forbid. And some were saying that maybe like a lot of those Asian nations will be used, like Japan and Korea, South Korea, and Taiwan, and the people there would be the ones who suffer really, and I think that would be a terrible shame. So I hope that the people in Japan, Korea, and Taiwan work together to sort of put pressure on their governments to ensure that that doesn't happen, and that politicians in those said countries work together for the good of their people, so that they won't allow themselves to be dragged into a war. But that's my opinion anyway. And maybe China could work with those countries and like fund their businesses, and they could support each other. So I'd love to see Asian and African unity. But anyway, here are some of my ideas generally for things such as women's empowerment and general charitable works and things like that to make the world, as I say, a better place. So here goes. So number one, I would love to support women in areas like politics, business, technology, STEM generally, and things like in what I call the six, which once again, as I've mentioned before, like are indigenous people from Ireland, also people of colour and indigenous people from Ireland, Africa, the Americas, Asia, Australasia, and also add on to that Latin America and people of colour and indigenous people from Latin America and the Americas generally, and also Latin Americans generally as well. With a bit of bias. Yeah, so I'd love to support women from those countries, and maybe they could even network together. What I call the six could network together and exchange ideas, especially for women. Number two, also possibly women of colour around the world, or women who support these ideas, such as empowering their fellow women in developing countries, could also share their ideas and empower their fellow women in and across those what I call the six, as they all. To put simply, I suppose you could say developing nations or former colonized nations in many ways. Although in the case of Latin America, I suppose they were the ones who colonized. So that's a bit of a difficult area, but they're still countries that are sort of emerging markets. So they need a lot of help to grow their economies. But yeah, especially indigenous women in those countries, all over the Americas, Argentina, Brazil, America itself, Mexico, Canada, and the rest of the Americas. As I say, literally all of the Americas. I love to support indigenous people and people of colour, especially women in those countries, and again, form networks and things like that. Number three, if people like myself, people like me, support like free or at least reduced price sort of funding, like to help them to get like PCs, laptops, training equipment, and things like that, I think would be great. As I say, support women in those areas: politics, business, technology, architecture, design, writing, poetry, creating their own art and things like that, and being encouraged to go into to produce those sorts of things and go into those sorts of areas. I think it'd be great. Number four, I think it'd be great to encourage like a worldwide anti-war lobby group, so that people can come together against wars and like put pressure on governments and politicians, including people from across Asia and Africa and places like that can come together against war and put pressure on their governments. And also it'd be great if somehow politicians would also oppose wars as I say, like for instance, politicians from Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and the rest of Asia to come together against wars and things like that. Number five, again, I think it would be great to get like-minded people to work together on these sorts of goals about making the world a better place, and look at how my own works, either my writings or my YouTube videos or other things like that, my YouTube channel generally, and my plans and actions can hopefully work together in the best possible way against wars and to make peace, promote peace, and make the world a better place generally. And I'd love to hear other people's ideas and suggestions, like if they think that there's something else that I could be doing better, then I welcome any suggestions and ideas and things like that to work towards a shared goal. Maybe networking with other people, like-minded people in the future, would be pretty great. And another thing is, I welcome any like sort of links as ever towards things like women in those countries I talked about, in developing countries or colonized countries, such as I say, like Ireland and across Africa and Asia and places like, as I say, or like all six generally. I welcome any links to sort of and encourage other people to like check on Google and YouTube itself to look for videos about, say, Irish women in business and things like that. Number 6, I would also love to look into ways, from a bias point of view, as I often say, to help Italian football to become world class again, as it used to be, and I hope Italian football can do as well as possible in the future, and draw on like our success in Euros and previous successful Italian teams to look at how to become world class and have supporters groups and academies and things like that all around the world. Number 7, and similar for Celtic as well. So number 8, on that note, I'd love to look into ways Italian football and Celtic could work together towards shared goals and things like that, including making the world a better place, and things like that. Number 9, once again, I'd love to support women to become writers, poets, artists and things like that, and celebrate women from developing countries, as I say, like all the 6, as I mentioned, and like look at what they've already produced and how to encourage more women to get into writing and poetry and art, again, in developing countries and things like that, or former colonies, as I say. And number 10, especially younger, say young women to be inspired and to have mentors and teachers and trainers to help them. And I'll say I welcome any links to projects that help women in developing countries, or any ideas how to help women into STEM. I'll say especially from across Africa and places like that, and again, like all the 6 generally, and how they can network together and things like that. And what your views are about my ideas, whether you think they're naive or you think they have some sort of merit, or whatever suggestions you have, or what ways do you think would make the world a more peaceful place, and what ideas I have that you disagree with or agree with generally. And I am out. Peace and love.